Assalamu alaikum. This is ATV English News. I am Michelle.
At first, the headlines. Security forces new conspiracy to intensify Rohingya sufferings. Civil society groups urge Burma government to accept UN fact-finding mission. State Buddhist Authority bans nationalist organizations' name and signboards. Burma Army rebuffs UN findings of abuse in Arakan state.
And now the details.
Security forces' new conspiracy to intensify Rohingya sufferings. Burma's government-backed security forces plot new schemes to arrest arbitrarily, to harass, to extort money and to persecute Rohingya men in villages inside Arakan state. This time, the security forces have adopted a grim scheme by using their agents in which they leave guns with a list of names wrapping the guns in Rohingya houses. Consequently, Rohingya men are being victims of random arrest bearing false allegations in which they have no affiliations. In Basara village, before Friday congregational prayer, military army conducted a raid on the village fully surrounding it and elicited all Rohingya men from their houses and made them assemble in a local school. Confining Rohingya men in a school, the security forces searched each Rohingya house. In a house, they discovered a gun with a list of 25 persons wrapped over the gun. Earlier, Aida Abdul Hakim, a government agent, sent the list of names to local administrative authority, bringing the accusation that these 25 people are supporting the members of Mohakhali group. When the case was investigated, all the Rohingya villagers protested in a single voice against the accusation. All the confined persons were cross-examined one by one to know whether they are affiliated with the persons listed. Later, they were spared, but 3 women were detained from the house where a gun was found. These repeated occurrences designed only to make Rohingya suffer, which speak of an obvious conspiracy against Rohingya Muslims and Rohingya men. Civil society groups urge Burma government to accept UN fact-finding mission. More than 50 civil society groups in Burma urge the government to fully cooperate with a UN-mandated fact-finding mission into human rights abuses in Arakan, Shan and Kachin states in a joint statement released Friday. The fact-finding mission will help the government of Burma to uphold human rights, and it will foster a role of law culture by establishing the facts and identifying perpetrators of human rights violations to prevent future atrocity crimes. Read the statement signed by groups from across the country, including Kachin Baptist Convention, Burmese Women's Union, and Karen Women Organization. Failure on the part of the National League for Democracy-led government or the military leadership to cooperate with the mission could cause Burma's human rights situation to deteriorate and more atrocities, the groups argue. The UN Human Rights Council resolution adopted at its 31st session in Geneva, Switzerland in March provides a mandate to establish the facts and circumstances of the alleged recent human rights violations by military and security forces, but has been consistently rejected by both Burma's civilian and military leaders. It is not too late for civilian and military authorities to work with this mission to establish the facts and prevent further violations and abuses, said Kinza Win, director of the Tampadipa Institute, a signatory to the statement according to a Fortified Rights press release. National reconciliation, stability, and development depend in large part on ending and remedying abuses and atrocities, and that can't happen until the facts are firmly established. Matthew Smith, director of Fortified Rights, told the Irrawaddy that the diversity of the signatories showed the widespread concern for rights abuses in the country. The timing of the statements released during the UN Peace Conference, he said, showed discontent with the government's current approach to national reconciliation. Last month, 23 international organizations, including Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and Fortified Rights, called on overseas government to engage Burmese authorities in allowing unfettered access to the UN fact-finding mission. State Buddhist Authority bans nationalist organizations' name and signboards. The State Buddhist Sangha Authority Mahana imposed further restrictions on Burma's biggest religious nationalist group, the Association for Protecting of Race and Religion, better known as Mabata, banning the organization from operating under its current name and ordering that their signboards be taken down across the country by July. It was the second blow by the Buddhist Cleric Authority after their announcement last year that Mabata was not a lawful monks association as it was not formed in accordance with the country's monastic rules. Founded in 2014, 2 years after Burma experienced religiously motivated riots largely targeting the Muslim minority and now with sub-chapters across the country, Mabata has been virtually synonymous with Buddhist nationalism. Some of its leading members, including O Wirato, have preached anti-Muslim sermons claiming that the Muslim population is outpacing the Buddhists and that Burma needs to be vigilant against fundamentalist influences. According to the 1990 law relating to the Sangha organization and existing laws, action will be taken by the Ministry of Home Affairs against any monks or lay persons that violate the ban, the statement reads. The penalties of the Sangha organization law say any monk or novice who violates the law will be punished with a period of imprisonment ranging from 6 months to 3 years. The association was criticized at home and abroad for lobbying for the country's controversial race and religion laws. Despite their public anti-Muslim preaching, Mabata outlived the previous Thein Sein government, which was criticized for turning a blind eye to the association's actions. Burma Army revives UN findings of abuse in Arakan State. The Burma Army on Tuesday rejected allegations of human rights abuses during its crackdown on Rohingya Muslims last year, made by the United Nations in a report on the offensive that forced some 75,000 Rohingya to flee to neighboring Bangladesh. Out of 18 accusations included in OHCHR's report, 12 were found to be incorrect, with the remaining 6 found to be false and fabricated based on lies and invented statements. The state-run Global New Light of Myanmar newspaper said in an article on Tuesday that summed up the internal military inquiry. It said military investigators, among others, interviewed nearly 3,000 villagers from 29 villages and wrote down testimony from 408 villagers, 184 military officers and troops. 3 low-ranking soldiers were jailed for minor offenses such as stealing a motorbike or beating up villagers in one incident, it added. Apart from the completed military inquiry, a national panel set up by Daw Aung San Suu Kyi in December and chaired by Vice President Oh Mi Sue, a former head of military intelligence, is also looking into the allegations. Besides the latter investigation, the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is controlled by the army, is also carrying out an inquiry. Separately, the UN has ordered a fact-finding mission to examine allegations of human rights abuses.
Press the bell icon on YouTube app and never miss another update. Press the bell icon on YouTube app and never miss another update.